Hi everybody, this is me, Ed O'Brien of Radiohead and EOB, and I'm doing something for Rough Trade, one of my favourite music shops in the whole world. And I miss going there, particularly Rough Trade East. Okay, so I'm going to answer a few questions that have been submitted and hope that I answer adequately. Well, the first question here is, what can we expect from the new solo record? Well, it's out. It's quite difficult to say because to me it's really obvious because I've made it, but I guess it's warm and colourful and vibrant and rhythmic in parts, and then at other moments it's introspective, it's quiet, it's dark, lots of light and shade, and me singing, trying to find a singing voice, which was a challenge, but I feel got there, kind of got a start on it. So yeah, why not have a listen? Okay, so next question, is this an album you wanted to make for a long time? And when did you start writing these songs? Well, I wrote these songs they really started in the summer of 2013, and they were all written and demoed by summer of 2014. And I was kind of ready, or I was ready with the songs to record. I hadn't assembled my team or my crew to do it, but in summer of 2014, Radiohead then we started the cycle for A Moon-Shaped Pool. And that was essentially, by the time the touring finished in the summer of 2018, that's pretty much a 4-year cycle. There was a bit of an overlap because I started recording my record in 2017. But we took basically a year to record it. There was some Radiohead touring commitments, but all done by the beginning of 2019. So it has been a while I wanted to do it, but when I look back on it, I mean, it's stretched over a period of time. I haven't spent a huge amount of time actually working on it. So yeah, inspirations for Earth. Well, literature-wise, Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass, that played a huge part in what I was feeling. Carl Sagan, The Pale Blue Dot, his words that accompany that image taken by Voyager 1 spacecraft in 1990. It's that image of the Earth furthest away, and there's a little pale blue dot and there's an arrow in it, and Carl Sagan writes these beautiful words that I implore you to Google and look up because I think they're really apt now. But they felt so perfect. And it's essentially what he's saying it's a call to arms, call for arms. I mean, that makes it kind of sound militaristic, but it's basically a call for us to get our shit together, to sort this out, because living on this planet is such a gift, and in the bigger scheme of things, we are 8 billion of us on this blue planet orbiting a sun, drifting in space, floating in space, and there's a bigger picture here, isn't there? Well, there is for me. So that was a huge inspiration. Musically, Brazilian music, because a lot of my family and I went to live in Brazil, so I've always been a fan of particularly people like Jorge Ben, Chico Buarque, Caetano Veloso, Gilberto Gil, obviously the João Gilberto, all these greats, and Carnival and Samba, the Samba from Carnival, there was that. I'm very influenced I have a real love of that kind of music, underworld, and particularly those sort of trance elements of underworld. I really resonate. I wanted to bring some of that in. Bill Withers was another. He was, there are elements like on a track on the third album, on the third track on the album called Deep Days. Bill Withers was a huge influence, and funny enough, like the track Shangri-La, it didn't end up sounding like that, but my reference point kept on being that sort of Mick Taylor era Rolling Stones, when Mick Taylor was the other guitarist and they had that purple patch, which I know he didn't play on Sympathy for the Devil, but it seemed to sort of, that was the start of it, and it went into Sticky Fingers and that whole era where Can't You Hear Me Knocking, where they have that Latin jam. It's so much of about is these grooves and these kind of shaker grooves and congas, and I love that, and that was something I wanted to bring in. So those are kind of the music influences. Okay, next one. Did you enjoy the artistic freedom of doing solo work, or was it scarier striking out on your own? Well, it's a bit of both, really. Yeah? It can be daunting at times because it is you, but I really enjoyed that aspect of being in an uncertain place. You know, I was out my comfort zone most of the time, and that's a good place to be. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I've only made one album, but I want to make more, and I feel there's, as a teacher might say on a report card, there's a room for improvement. So yeah. What is the greatest non-performing musical moment of your life? Well, that's got to be the birth of my children. Seeing my wife give birth to our kids was, I mean, I remember thinking at the time, I was thinking, every second of every moment of every day, a woman, a mother, is giving birth to a child. And it's magical. It's truly extraordinary. And yet we don't really seem to, as a culture, really honour it the way we should do. All mothers are fucking heroines. I mean, what they have to go through. Us guys, we have no idea. And then these little beings pop out, these little extraordinary souls. So yeah, that for me was obviously the most extraordinary moment of my life. And, you know, including musical. You know, you can play the Pyramid stage of Glastonbury, which is like, it's about as good as it gets, but on a scale with children being born, where children is a 10, Glastonbury main stage is a 3, and everything else is about a half. But I have a good life, so I don't mean to denigrate the rest of my life, but I'm just trying to give you the idea of the epicness to being witness to a child being born by someone you love so deeply. Okay. After all these years on the road, which country have you never visited but would like to? Iran. I'd love to go to Iran and Iraq. I'm really fascinated by Persia, the art, the food, the culture, the warmth. I'm really interested in, you know, so many, you know, for Western civilization, Persia, Sumeria is the birthplace where we come from. And that land obviously is traumatized by, you know, wars, needless wars. And I would love to go there, and I'd love to take music there, and I'd love to just, you know, experience it. But of course, you know, like a lot of places around the world, these countries have leaders who are quite challenging, who don't really, and I'm trying to be underhand, not trying to get on my box about this, but yes, you know what I mean. All right. Okay, so have your music preferences changed much over the years? Yes, a lot, and a lot at the moment, and I'm moving. I'm like in the last 6 months, the music that I'm getting into is really changing. So it's kind of a weird time for me. A lot of music that I've fallen back on is not working for me as it used to, which is fine, which means I'm trying to find something new. It's funny, classical music has really started to really come home. I listened to a lot when I was a kid. I was in a choir, so I sang a lot and I participated a lot, but it's really resonating. And I think it's not so much the classical music itself. I think it's the voices. I'm really into voices and mass voices en masse. And in fact, a mate of mine who also played on the record, Adrian Utley of Portishead, I was texting him yesterday and I was just thanking him for the record and, wanted to send him the vinyl. And we just started riffing a bit on sacred music. And he gave me a playlist of some Arvo Pärt music. So, I just need a way in there. So he's given me a couple of hints. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. But I still love rhythm. I still love a good bit of trance. You know what I mean? So yeah, okay. The worst rider you've ever had? I don't know. They've all been so bloody good for years. I don't know about that. That's my memories. Best live show you've ever seen? Okay. I can't say the best, but I'll name 3. 1992 Brixton Academy. Sonic Youth with Pavement opening up. Pavement came on, blew them away. Well, not blew them, blew us all away. Like, how does it get any better? And then Sonic Youth came on and just ferocious. And they were supporting the album out at the time called Dirty, which I really loved. There's a track on that called Sugar Cane, which is definitely, we used to be on heavy rotation, but that was an amazing gig. 1990, a Sunday night, GMX, Happy Mondays, the day before Step On was released. Manchester in full flow, celebratory. It was like, it was just amazing. And I remember when Rope for Luck was like the song on the encore, it seemed that every drug dealer in Manchester was on stage with them. It was brilliant. Stage full of smoke, and it was a real euphoric party, proper, and the band played brilliantly, which I saw them on several other times. They didn't always. So, and the other one was that Irish band back in 1985, U2. I saw U2 play this gig called The Longest Day at Milton Keynes, and I loved Unforgettable Fire, and it was 2 weeks before they played Live Aid, and it was mighty. It was truly extraordinary. I mean, I'd never been to a gig that size, there were 50,000, but the way they inhabited that space, it pissed down with rain all day. R.E.M., Billy Bragg supported, I think the Ramones, a band called the Faith Brothers, Spear of Destiny, I don't know if any of you remember them, they supported. And, they were all pretty good, but U2 came a lot, and they opened up with a track called 11 O'Clock TikTok, and it was magic. So that was pretty... Oh, also Smith's, Brixton Academy, 1986, November, December, on the Queen is Dead... not the Queen is Dead tour, because the Queen is Dead has come out in 85, May 85. So this was that era, like, they'd had all those singles out, like Panic, Ask. I remember Morrissey, when they... Panic, Hang the DJ being the chorus refrain, and he came out with a noose and a picture of Steve Wright, the Radio 1 DJ. So we all love that stuff. So that was great as well. So your favourite Radiohead album? I don't have a favourite. Again, I'm not like I like them for different reasons. I like the Bends because it's got great energy, and I think all the songs are like there's a kind of, it's kind of almost like power pop in a way. I like OK Computer because there's a kind of, there's a kind of a spiritual dimension to that record that we sort of are tapping into for the first time. I like Kid A because it's where we made our first really different sounding record. And I really like In Rainbows, because In Rainbows you know, I really like the songs on it, but I really like the warmth and the colour in that record. And yeah, so they would be my 4 favourite records. That's not to put down the others, but I mean, listen, I don't know really, because I don't ever listen to them, so you're much better to answer that. Favourite Electro Harmonix pedal and why? Easy. And anyone who knows me who knows this answer. It is the Deluxe Memory Man by Electro Harmonix. I used to call it the God pedal, because you can play any old shit through it and it sounds marvelous. So, you know, even with my limited abilities, that pedal heightens dramatically what I do. And how do you think the global pandemic will alter the music industry? Well, that's a big question, and I know I've been fairly flippant about, well, not flippant, but kind of light about the other ones. I think this will change us forever, and I think we are entering a totally new age that we don't know about, that has taken a lot of us by surprise. I think the old ways are gone. I hope that music is obviously, I mean, we're not frontline workers. Music's not, you know, we're not like NHS workers or frontline workers or delivery drivers or postal workers, you know. But it definitely has a role to play, and I always say this, that it you know, what you're trying to do as a musician is to serve the music and help people, and that's what I'm hoping is that there's a kind of a realignment in the music industry, and it's that the business side of it has always been important, but hopefully people can the first question is, how can we help society? How can musicians help society and culture at large? How can we help build a new world? How can we help get out of this? You know, what's our role? So how do I think the global pandemic will alter the music industry? It will be huge, because I think this shift is huge. And maybe we will be more online with stuff. Maybe, you know, maybe we won't, maybe the exception will be big gatherings like concerts and festivals for the time being. Hope, you know, there will come a time when it ends, but I think for the foreseeable future, it's going to be very, very different. But we're human beings and we're resilient, and it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, it's you know, how in 5 weeks this new reality has become a new norm. So we will adapt, as we always have done, and hopefully we can do that with love, respect and kindness for one another, for our planet, and for all the plants and all the animals who we share this planet with. Okay, well, that's me done for. That's me done for? No, that's me done. Sorry. That's me done for. Maybe it is. Just sending you love, light, and hope you're all safe and warm. And thank you, Rough Trade. If any of you are interested in buying my album, I would wholeheartedly recommend buying it on roughtrade.com and supporting them at this time, because it's very, very hard on retailers like Rough Trade. We need to support them. I think they're all available from Rough Trade, but all right, thank you. Hope you all safe and well, and you know, yeah, good luck.